Alright, so, throughout the past 9 months I've been slowly but surely doing speedruns of every single Red Ball game. Starting with volumes 2 and 3, working up to my most recent one on Red Ball 3, I can say I'm pretty familiar with the entire series as a whole. Out of the 9 entries, I've done a speedrun on 8 of them, on top of beating them as just a casual player. So I thought to myself that once I would finish a speedrun of all games, I would rank them all in a big ranking video. But then I realized I only have stuff to say for like 3 games, so I'm just gonna toss my tier list on the screen, and you guys can argue in the comments why Red Ball 1 is definitively the best, and I'm just a fucking moron who doesn't understand the concept of first entry equals unrivaled best game in the series. So, since I'm so burnt out on making videos right now, I haven't even finished my original goal of speedrunning all 9, Red and Blue Balls 2 is haunting my brain right now, help! And talking about only 3 games is less of a mental challenge to think of shit to say than for the other Sims games and then edit them for 50 years. I'm just gonna talk about my 3 favorite. Here we go. So, Red Ball 2 is debatably the best game of the series. Now, you have to keep in mind that I speedrun all these games in the series with the exception of Rab 2. Therefore, my viewpoints for these games will be both from a casual and speedrunning standpoint. With that said, Red Ball 2 is a perfect game for the both aforementioned viewpoints. From a casual standpoint, it is a great puzzle platformer. Now you might think, Dana, this is a Flash game from 2009, it can't be miraculous. That's bullshit. And you know what? You're totally right. It's not anything revolutionary. It's just a sequel to a game that exploded in popularity. A game which I consider to be the worst official game in the series. This game is the definition for what a puzzle platformer is. It's platforming puzzles. Take, for example, level 16. It's both platforming over a toxic water while also having puzzle aspects with mainly pushing the planks down over and under the stars. And yes, while the game does have moments where it goes too far with the puzzles, like levels 11 and 15 being overly complicated, and with bullshitty levels like the freaking dark level, the game overall strikes a great balance between puzzle and platform, and I love that. Hell, even the bonus levels are great. The first 3 revolve around some random cool idea the developer came up with, like walls you can go through or even golfing, with the last 2 being totally puzzle levels, like a code you can reveal with hidden blocks, or just a moving flagpole that I don't even know how to describe. It's just the perfect mix between puzzle and platformer. Now, you might think, how is a lengthy puzzle game also an exciting speedrunning adventure? Well, intendedly, it's not. But with one crucial glitch, this game becomes a true speedrunning adventure. The pause jump. By pressing pause 2 frames after the jump button, because for some reason in the code there is a 2-frame delay to jumping, I have no idea why. So, after you press pause after 2 frames of holding the jump button, you hold the jump button down through the entire time you go through like the boing animation and the pausing screen, and then you unpause the game. You basically get a trick that makes you jump twice as high as a regular jump. Amazing, right? This single trick turns the game from a puzzle platformer to just a platformer, totally skipping most puzzles in the game. Keyword most. Yeah, there are levels where pause jumping doesn't help in the slightest, the aforementioned 11 and 15 being the main culprits for run killers in the game. It's honestly a really fun speed game if you just were able to skip 11 and 15 because those are extremely lengthy. Here's something fun you can do in Red Ball 2. Beat the game normally, solve all the puzzles in the intended way, then learn to pause jump, and now go back to every level that had a puzzle and skip it with pause jumping. It honestly feels really nice to do so because you struggle with the pause jumps and now, not with the pause jumps, with the puzzle, and now that you've learned the skip, you can do the skip and it feels really freaking nice to do so. Anyways, that's it for Red Ball 2. On to the next game. Red Ball 4 Volume 3. This is the first time I ever truly tried with my speedruns. Usually I just speedrun games for fun. This time I truly tried to get a good time, and in the end I did get a time I was satisfied with. 4:58. Anyway, Red Ball 4 Volume 3 is one of 2 Red Ball games that nails its theming, having the best theming of any Red Ball game. Another game with a good theming is Volume 2, but that thing has ninjas and saw blades in the force, which is dumb. Volume 3 nails the Wasteland Factory aesthetic perfectly. Hell, even the enemies and hazards fit perfectly with the theme. Compressors, conveyors, and lasers would normally be enough, but the bomb enemies are such cool additions. They're basically the horn dudes from Volume 1, but mystically with touch of sights. They're an absolutely great addition to the theming. The boss is also great here. I normally don't like the bosses in Red Ball games. The bosses in Volume 2 and Red Ball 3 are too easy, and the Volume 2 boss is just annoying with the erratic jump movements and dropping the enemy right on you, which I hate. Volume 3's boss is honestly really cool. Besides that stupid trick in the first phase, which is really, I really just don't understand how in the ever-living can even exist. The boss is also decently difficult without being annoying, which is another good thing. Another thing I also like is that they establish mechanics from the beginning of the game and then play around with them later. The laser is introduced in level 1 and the conveyors in level 5. Those things appear everywhere throughout the game from that point onwards. As for the speedrunning experience, it's great. The level design allows you to move much faster through the game compared to games like Red Ball 2, with tricks like the double jump allowing for great time saves, especially in levels 8 and 11, making the speedrunning experience pretty damn great. That's all I got to Volume 3. Much more simple compared to Red Ball 2, much less to say, but still a great game and the second best in the franchise behind Red Ball 2. This, along with putting Red Ball second last, will get me the most hate comments. With that said, Red and Blue Balls 3 is single-handedly saved by one single change, the 1.5 times speed modification. The single change to the speed in this game makes it so much more enjoyable compared to Red and Blue Balls 2. The speed in Rab 2 make it so beyond abysmally slow and tedious to beat, let alone speedrun. The single speed change makes it so much more enjoyable in every single aspect. Movement is so fluid now that you're just simply faster. If this single change wouldn't have been here, we would have been talking about Red Ball 3 here instead. That's all I gotta say. Rab 3 is really fun to control to the point where it single-handedly carries the whole game. Thanks for watching.